Hello and welcome. In this video, we will learn about tweezers pattern. Okay. First, I'll explain about tweezer top and then proceed to explain tweezer bottom. Alright. This is how a tweezer top looks like. Let me explain the characteristics of this pattern first and then show you few charts. Okay. Now this tweezer top appears after an uptrend. So we must have a good uptrend first, and at the end of an uptrend we must find this pattern, or this pattern must occur. Okay. In this pattern, the first candle must be a big green candle. This must be a big green candle, which shows that the buyers are in control. Okay. The second candle must be a small body candle, and it can be of any color. So this can be either red or green. This can only be of green color. Okay, and it must be a big candle. Now the characteristic that makes it a tweezer top is that the high of the first candle and the high of the second candle must be at the same level. So let us say this level is 1000 rupees. This must also be at 1000 rupees. If that is the case, then we consider this as tweezer top. Okay, the high of both the candles must be the same. Alright, now we do not use this tweezer top to enter a trade. We use it to exit a trade. This pattern says that the prior trend is weakening, meaning if we had entered somewhere down below, this is the sign wherein we must take a clue to exit from the trade. Okay. Now this pattern is used in higher time frame only. Now what happens is, you will find tweezer tops and also tweezer bottoms frequently in lower time frames, and all those patterns are very less accurate, meaning the signals that you get in lower time frame are less accurate, and so we do not consider tweezer tops or bottoms in lower time frame. All the candlestick patterns that we have learned till now work in all the time frames. Okay, we have learnt hammer, spinning hammer, dark cloud cover, inverted hammer, dojis, everything, right? So all those patterns work in 1 minute chart, 3 minute chart, 5 minute chart, 1 hour chart, 1 day chart, 1 week chart, and so on. Okay, they work in all the time frames in the same manner, but the tweezer tops work only in higher time frames. Okay, and so we do not consider this in lower time frames. Okay, now this is tweezer top. The opposite is tweezer bottom. This pattern must occur after a downtrend. So we must have a pretty good downtrend, and at the bottom we must find this pattern. In this pattern, the first candle must be a red big candle or a big red candle, okay, which shows that the sellers are in control of the price. The second candle must be a small body candle of any color. So this can either be green or red. The characteristic that makes it a tweezer bottom is that the low of the first candle and the low of the second candle must be same. Okay, The low of the first candle and the second candle must be same. Alright. Now, this pattern is also used to exit a trade. If we had shorted somewhere over here and the price comes down, and if we find this at the bottom, we must take a clue to exit from the trade, and this too works in a higher time frame. Okay, so neglect this pattern in lower time frames and only consider if it happens in a higher time frame, 1 day and above. Okay, now let me show you few charts. So here we have an uptrend, and at the end of this uptrend we find tweezer top. Now this is not a tweezer top, okay, because in tweezer tops we want the first candle to be a big green candle, but here we have a big candle but we have wicks also, okay, which is not what we want. The second candle must be a small bodied candle, but here too we have a big red candle, okay, but the highs of both the candles are at the same level, and so we may consider this as a tweezer top. Now see, I explained you the characteristics of tweezer top and tweezer bottom according to books on candlesticks. But in real market, you will not be able to find the exact same pattern. Sometimes the highs of both the candles will be varying, okay, by 1 or 2 points. If it varies by 1 or 2 points, we have to consider it, because if you keep on waiting for a perfect pattern to appear, you will be losing a lot of trades. Okay. Now here we can consider this as a tweezer top because the highs are same. Next, we have learnt about this pattern before. First a big green candle, then a second candle opening above and then closing below 50% of the first green candle. Okay, so we have learnt about this pattern too. Now do not worry about the name of the pattern, it doesn't matter, okay, but you must be able to recognize it, that's all. So we have learnt about this pattern too. So now we have an uptrend, and at the end of the uptrend we have two candlesticks with matching highs, and then we have a pattern forming here which we have learnt before, and so you can exit from the trade if you had entered here, here or here. Okay. Now I told you that we use tweezer tops and tweezer bottoms to exit a trade only, but in this case you can enter a trade too, and that will not be based on the tweezer top, that will be based on the pattern that we have learnt before. Okay, we have learnt dark cloud cover, correct? Let us not go to the names, but here the second candle is closing below the middle point of the first candle. So we have a pattern that we have learned before, and according to this pattern you can enter the trade here. So according to tweezer top you have to exit, but we have tweezer top happening here, and along with tweezer top we have one more pattern happening here, reversal pattern, and so you can enter a trade by placing proper stop loss. Alright? Yes. So this is how a tweezer top works. Now what does a tweezer top say? Tweezer top says that the buyers were active till here, but the next day buyers were not able to take the price up from the previous day's high. So whatever high was created yesterday, that was the high today too, and the buyers failed to take it up, and so the strength of the buyers is weakening. That is what this pattern says, and that is what happened here too. Okay. Next, we have one more day chart. We have a downtrend, and at the end of the downtrend, we have a tweezer bottom appearing. Now, this is a tweezer bottom. This is considered as a tweezer bottom because this is not a perfect tweezer bottom. First is a big red candle, that is fine, but second, we need a small bodied candle. But here we have a big candle. Now once again, what is happening here is, this is a pattern that we have learnt before. Okay, a pregnant lady pattern, harami pattern, correct? Once again, let us not go to the names, but this is a pattern that we have learnt before. We have tweezer bottom here, the bottoms are matching. Along with that, we have a pattern that we had learnt before. If we look prior to that, we have one more pattern that we have learnt before, and that too at the end of the downtrend. And we have one more pattern at the end of the downtrend, which is inverted of this. Okay, so we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this. So we have all these. We have all these to say that the prior trend is weakening and the new trend is will be starting. Okay, so if you had entered here, you should have exited when you encounter this, but if not, then you must exit at this point. Okay, so let us see what has happened. It has gone up, and once again I am saying that I have taken a chart which has gone according to how I needed it. Okay, now this is how the tweezer bottom works. The sellers were able to take the price till here, but the next day the sellers were not able to breach the low of the prior candle, and so the price went in the other way. Okay, now you could have taken a trade here too. Okay, see, we have tweezers bottom, right? Tweezers bottom says that the prior trend is weakening, and along with tweezers bottom we have one harami pattern, and before that we have a pattern that we have learnt, correct? A hammer. So as soon as you see this tweezers bottom pattern, along with that one more pattern is happening here, and prior to that one more reversal pattern has occurred here. So according to all these three, you could have taken a long position here too. Okay, if it was only the tweezers bottom, then you could have exited the trade, and that's all. But here we have multiple patterns appearing, and so you could have taken a trade here too. Okay, so this is one. Now here, this is a chart where you can see tweezer bottom and tweezer tops happening in the middle of a flat market, I can say, okay, or sideways movement. As I told you, the tweezer tops and tweezer bottoms have meaning only if they appear at the end of an uptrend or a downtrend. If they happen in between like this or like this, they are not considered. This is not an uptrend. The price closed here, it opened with a gap down and it moved up, that's all. Okay, this is not an uptrend and this is not considered as a tweezer top. Okay, so consider it only if it is at the end of an uptrend or a downtrend. Use it to exit a trade. You can use it to enter a trade if a different separate pattern happens along with tweezer tops or tweezer bottoms. Okay, I hope the concept is clear.